what that meant. I don't know what that was. Hello. Welcome to my life. Hello. I'm back. I'm back again. Hello. Encouragement will give us a share. Okay. I'm back. Every night I'm going to go live to get over my fear of going live. Every night I'm going to go live to get over my fear of going live. I don't know which 3 friends are live. That makes me nervous because I don't know all my friends. Woo! Isn't that live button? Hey, Dev. Welcome to the live. I am talking about NDEs and crossing over tonight. I know last night I said that I was going to share a hello. I was going to share a recording of my ex-husband who is no longer with us. He has crossed over. He jumped into my live broadcast one night when I was right after he passed away. So I looked for it. I found it. I still have it. I knew I had it, but I wasn't sure if I could find it. But I found it today. I did. I found it. Thank you for the hearts. Whoever's hearting me, I can't see. It went by so fast. So last night I said that I was going to talk about, NDEs and crossing over and all that. I had a crossing over experience too. So I'm going to talk about my crossing over experience. Hey, Melissa. Hey. I'm going to talk about my crossing over experience, and then I'm going to let you listen to my ex-husband who jumped into my live. 2007. It was 2007. He jumped into my live, and he was not alive. He was unalive, but he was live on my show. So, anyway, I had a crossing over experience. Yes, Melissa, that's what happened. He jumped into my live. He was not, that's because you wasn't talking to me then. That's my sister, everybody. Melissa is my sister. She has a really popping channel. Her channel is amazing. Her page. I mean, she has a really popping page here. So you should follow her, Melissa. On her she's got a great page. Way better than mine. But yeah, that happened, Melissa. You wasn't talking to me then, right? Remember, you was a Jehovah's Witness. Y'all wasn't talking to me. Now you was talking. Nobody was talking to me. That's what happens when you're a Jehovah's Witness and you get kicked out. Your family starts talking to you. But she talks to me now. We're good friends. We're like this, We was always good friends, but she wasn't allowed to have a conversation with a sister. So anyway. Oh yeah, you forgot. You should come on my live. Why don't you come on? I like when you're around. Well, if you're ready, if you want to. So here's what happened to me. Oh, okay. All right. In 2003, I had what you call a what they call it an event. I call it, crossing over. Okay. And I realized I wanted to talk about this because there's a lot of people who are right now, I don't know, we're all going through this ascension, right? And focusing on our consciousness. A lot of us are, not everybody, but a lot of us are. And moving into from 3D into 4D into 5D, and question a lot of things. So I'm going to tell you about my experience when I crossed over. When I crossed over, and what happened, and it changed me a great deal, because when I came back, thank you for the thank you for the likes. When I came back, I was different. My friends, not my family, but my friends thought I was different. So I had an event in 2003, and one day I was out to dinner with some friends, and I started having pain in my stomach, and I didn't know why, what was going on. It just kept getting progressively worse, and I couldn't go to the bathroom. I couldn't go to the bathroom, which, sometimes that happens. You get stopped up and you can't go. So I was taking all these different things, drinking a lot of water, walking around, exercising. Nothing was happening. Nothing was moving in here, in my stomach. And I went out to dinner, and I was really just not eating. It wasn't nothing. It wasn't working. Came home, and thank goodness, this is when you follow your intuition too. I'm gonna tell you. I told you about a couple of intuition stories and how they saved my life. Like, I have had so many near to NDEs in my life. It's kind of freaking me out now. But anyway, I came home. Yes, I sure have. I came home and I laid down, and it just nothing. I was just out of it. I got up in the middle of the night, tried to go to the bathroom, and fell out on the bathroom floor, and I couldn't get up. That's how bad the pain was. And my older son, I was in the bathroom crying. I couldn't move. I was crying. I was screaming. Now, both of my sons had like their spaces upstairs, and the one whose bedroom I was underneath didn't hear me at all. He was just out like a light. And my other son heard me, and he came running down. He saw me in the bathroom. I told him, call an ambulance, take me to the ambulance. They take me into the hospital, and they examined me, and then they sent me home. They said nothing was wrong with me. I just needed to pass some gas. I was like, this is not any kind of gas I've ever had. Here's the thing. We all know our bodies, but a lot of times physicians and people that don't know your body will tell you that your body's doing something else, but you live with your body. You know your body, and something was very wrong. So they sent me home, and I knew I was leaving. I knew it. I could feel it. I knew I was leaving this place, this planet, and there was nothing I could do, right? I had already gone to the hospital, and they sent me back home. So I laid there for a number of hours, and then the hospital called. Somebody had looked at my x-rays. The hospital called, and they said, you need to get right in. You need to come right in right now. I was like, what? They said, how are you doing? Did you go to the bathroom? I said, no. And I was leaving. I could barely talk. I was leaving. And they said, you need to come in right now. You need to come in right now. You need to get here right now. I was like, okay, I'll come tomorrow. They was like, no. You need to come now. Now. So I got to the hospital. Had a friend take me to the hospital. When I got to the hospital, they said that my intestines, they did a, what do you call that? CAT scan? Something. They did something, right? I think it was a CAT scan. I can't remember. But they saw that my intestines had burst inside my body cavity. My intestines had burst inside my body cavity. When your intestines burst inside of your body cavity, typically that's not a good thing. Okay? You are leaving. That, most people leave the planet when that happens. When your intestines burst inside of your body cavity, you're about to check out because all of the bile starts oozing into your bloodstream. And 9 times out of 10, you can't come back from that. 9 times out of 10, that's a done deal for you. Exit stage left. So, I knew that I was leaving. I knew that, hi, Stacy. Oh, you remember now, Melissa? Yeah, everybody thought I was gone. They called my family. They said, you need to get here. She's not long for this world. You need to come in and say goodbye. So, they called my family to come in, and I told one of my friends, I said, I don't want to go, right? And it was a big snowstorm. It was huge. It was one of the biggest snowstorms we had in New York. And my dad came from Brooklyn on the ferry and walked to the hospital to get to me, right? And I said to my friend, I said, I don't want to go, but, please tell them I don't want to go. I want to live. That's what I said. I didn't say I didn't want to go. I said, I want to live, right? I want to live. So when they took me into the operating table, into the operating room, I remember this clearly. They said, we're going to have to go in and we're going to have to take everything out. I was like, what? They were going to have to do a hysterectomy. They were going to have to take out my intestines. Because it was, the bile now was going into my lungs. And if it reached my heart, that was it, right? I was going on. So, on the operating table, though, something happened. And I left. I could hear them saying I was coding, and then I could hear them. Even though I was under anesthesia, heavy anesthesia, I could hear them, saying that she was coding. And I left. Now, here's the thing. I didn't see the light like everybody else sees. I didn't see the light. I didn't see any of that. A lot of people say they see the light and they walk into the light. I didn't see none of that. But I did remember leaving my body. And I remember going away from here. But I was conscious. And I was in, thank God I watched Grey's Anatomy so I can visualize this. Hi, Tara. So I was not here, but I was in another place. And the place that I was at was one of the most, I was just so full of joy in this place. It was the most calm and relaxing. I was happy. It was amazing. It was wonderful. Okay? And I met someone whose name some of you call Jesus, and some of you call Yeshua. And he came up to me, but I wasn't in this place very long. It didn't feel like I was there very long, but it felt like I was there very long. It felt like I was there very long, but I wasn't there very long. Okay, in earth terms, I guess. But when I was there, it felt like I was there for a long time. And I met Yeshua. And I was asked, and now people say, well, what did he look like? Was he black? Was he white? Was he Asian? He looked like whatever you wanted him to look like. That's that's all I could tell you. If you want to meet him or whatever, you know, and you want to cross over, you'll find out for yourself. But he looked like whatever you want, whatever you want him to look like, that's what he looked like. And he asked me, thank you for liking the live. Thank you, Stacy. He asked me if I wanted to go back. Me and my dumb behind. I was like, what? He says, you can go back. Do you want to go back? I was like, yes, I have to go back. I want to go back. I want to see how the story ends. What is wrong with me? The next thing I knew, I was awake in the ICU, and a friend was sitting next to my bed crying, just crying, like sobbing uncontrollably, praying over me, and I woke up. I had all these tubes in my mouth, and tubes everywhere. I was tubed down. I had tubes in every orifice. I know, I had my chance. I had my chance to stay gone. Okay? My dumb behind said, yes, I need to go back. I want to see how the story ends. Those were my exact words. I want to see how the story ends. I had my chance and I blew it. I was bamboozled. But here's the thing. Nobody comes back from that. So when I woke up, because they told y'all, remember, they told y'all that was it. I was gone. I wasn't supposed to be here. I wasn't supposed to be coming back. I wasn't supposed to be here. So I opened my eyes. But here's the thing. I knew everything there was to know about everything. I knew everything. When I say everything, I could do math equations in my mind that I never could do before because I can't do math. I knew how the universe was created. I knew where angels came from. I knew everything there was to know about everything. But I couldn't talk because my mouth was jammed up. I was all jammed up. I had tubes everywhere. I couldn't move my hands. I couldn't do anything. I could not do a thing. I couldn't tell anybody that I knew everything about everything, and I couldn't even write it. So my friend gave me a notepad because I was trying to tell her, and in my mind I was talking. In my mind I was talking. I was having a conversation with her, but she couldn't hear me because I was the only one. I was talking in here. She couldn't hear me out here. So I was like, I said, give me a pen. And I was trying to write. I couldn't even write. I couldn't write nothing. And the doctors were shocked. Everybody was shocked and amazed. They were like, well, she's awake? I was like, yeah, I'm awake. So they moved me. It was in this little tiny emergency ICU room. This was 2003. Right after 9/11, like 2 years after 9/11, not even a year and a half after 9/11. And they moved me into this ICU room by myself. And I started coming around. I was perking up. They were shocked. They were like, she's not supposed to be doing this. But in my mind, in my heart and mind, I knew that I was okay. So I'm trying to tell them, I was like, nah, I'm fine. I'm going to be good. Everything's fine. Because I found out that everything was fine. I was going to be great. And they were shocked. So people would come in my room, like the nurses and the janitors and stuff, like just for like for 48 hours. I had a massive amount of information. I knew whose family member had passed on. I had messages for them when they came into my room. I was like, "Hey, is your mother gone? Your father? I think I met them. They told me to tell you da 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 da." I was giving messages to people. I was in that ICU room for 7 days. They thought they were shocked. Then they moved me to a regular room, and in 2 weeks I was out of there and I was on my way home. Nobody could believe it because I wasn't supposed to be here. So I had a bag though attached to my side of my stomach, and that's called an ileostomy bag, right? And usually that doesn't come off either. Okay, that doesn't come off. 9 times out of 10, when you have one of those, it's not coming off for the most part. So I went back and I told these doctors, I was like, this has to come off. They were like, what? I said, yeah, I can't be walking around with this. What are you talking about? I said, yeah, no, I'm too young to have this. I can't function. No, we can't do this. So they hooked me up with a doctor, I guess because I was annoying. But in my knowing, because I had crossed over, I had gotten this information that I was going to be okay. Like everything was going to be all right. Like I was going to heal. My body was going to heal. I was going to be okay. And I believed it. You couldn't tell me anything. You couldn't tell me nothing. Nothing. Okay. So I went to this doctor and he looked at me. He says, yeah, we can take it off. I was like, good, great. When can we do this? Now I had the event in February. February 15th is when I went in. Wow, February 15th was this weekend. I just realized that. I went in February 15th and 14th, sorry. No, 15th. And he said, we can do the surgery, but, you don't have insurance and it's going to cost you a lot of money. And I was like, well, I don't know how this is going to work, but this has to get done. Okay. I know it has to get done. It has to get done. I have faith. I didn't tell him that, but in my mind, I was like, yeah, I already know that's going to be done because I was already told that I'm going to be fine. So this has to get done. This bag has to come off. I went into the doctor's office again for another checkup, and he was like, ma'am, your insurance, you don't have insurance. Your insurance is not going to pay for this. And, we're gonna apply for Medicaid for you. I was like, yeah, okay, do whatever you got to do, but I got to get this done. I just had some confidence. And I just want to say that that's kind of what faith is, right? You got to have confidence. Now, I have had like messed up things happen to me where I didn't have any confidence and I lost my confidence. But that day, that time, you couldn't tell me nothing. So I come in one day and there was a nurse there, a guy. He had a little pamphlet in his pocket. He says, do you believe in Jesus? Jesus, your personal savior. He walked into me and he said, listen, I want to tell you something. I was like, yeah, what? He says, you're not going to get the surgery. What? He said, yeah, I'm telling you, it's not likely. You're not going to get this surgery. I said, let me ask you something. He was like, what? I said, you see that little pamphlet that you got right there? He was like, yeah. I said, so you coming over to me, you got this little pamphlet and you asking me if I believe in Jesus. Do you? He was like, what? I said, do you? Yes, a nurse. He had a pamphlet in his pocket, breast pocket, a couple of them. He was handing them out to people. I said, do you believe? I said, because see, I got faith. I know I'm having this surgery. I said, and if you are telling me, he said, well, I'm trying to tell you not to get your hopes up. I said, then you need to get out of my space. You need to leave. You have to go. He looked at me. He said, what? I said, you don't have any faith. I do. You have to go. You can't be my nurse anymore. I need a new nurse. I said, and the next time I come back in here, you will see me and I will have this surgery and the bag will be off. He just chuckled, okay? Because he was like, yeah, this lady's crazy. I don't care. So, long story short, there was a lot of things that happened, miraculous things that happened. But one night I got a phone call, and it was my doctor. And he said, listen, I need you to pack a bag. I already had the bag packed. He said, I need you to get to the hospital right now tonight and go into the emergency room and tell them that you're in a lot of pain. Your bag came off. I was like, what? He said, tell them you're in a lot of pain and your bag is coming off. I was like, okay. He says, and bring everything you need. So I went into the emergency room. He said, they already know that you're coming, because there was a nurse or two that knew I was coming in. And I went to the emergency room. I had my father with me and my one of my best friends at the time. She drove me to the hospital. And we got there, and I was like, oh, my bag. I was acting my behind off. I said, my bag is coming off. They took me in. I said, I don't know. I'm in a lot of pain. They took me in from the emergency room and put me in a room. The next day I had my surgery. And the bag was off. And I saw that nurse. Not too long after that. I saw that nurse. And he saw me. He saw me. He was like way down the hall. And I just looked at him. I stood there and I stared at him. I was eyeballing him, because I was like, yeah, you see, you're trying to tell me about having faith. I got faith, son. It was a long road, because I was really angry that I came back. I was upset, but I never had that issue again. I never had that problem again. And it was something extraordinary, right? People were calling it a miracle. And I came back from that. So there is times when people will cross over and they will tell you stories. And there's an article now, not article, but they're declassified documents by the CIA that everybody's, well, not everybody, people I know, people I follow are talking about it. And I downloaded it, so you might want to check it out too. These are declassified documents. You should get them now before, they're getting rid of the stuff from the archives. So if you want to find out what the CIA has in the archives about consciousness and leaving your body, astral projection, and all of these different topics that we talk about in the spiritual community and sometimes in the science community, it's amazing, because they don't want you to know how powerful you really are. And right now, this administration is deleting documents in the archives. And if you're smart, you'll go get those documents. Go get those documents for yourself. Download them. Put them on your hard drives. Put them other documents, but that one specifically you should get. I'm saying. I just feel like it's going to be really important for all of us at some point. So I have been downloading information from there. They have videos, they have text documents, and they talk about consciousness, what happens when we cross over. I can only tell you my experience, but they have evidence of it. Remote viewing, meditation, hemisync, binaural beats, all of that. Don't know why they declassified it, but all of it, some of it has been declassified since 2023. And now that the archives are being deleted, I feel like we all need to go get get that information. So if you haven't gotten that information, you should go get that information for yourself. So now I'm going to tell you, that was my experience, right? So I know what happens when you cross over. I was ticked off that I came back. I had my chance, like my sister Melissa said, who's in the chat. Hi, Melissa. And I came back, right? I decided to come back. But after that, in 2007, my ex-husband passed away. And I told you about the story. I told you his story last night because we talked about it when I heard him. He was at his house in New Jersey, and I was here in New York. I heard him say he was leaving, and he did not want us to come. Hi, Ladybug. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I did not want, I was trying to get my kids over to see him before he left. And he told me he was leaving. He said, I'm leaving. I could hear it. I heard it. And I told my father that day when this happened, right? Because I felt like I was nuts. He said, I'm leaving. Don't come. I don't want you to see me this way. And then 5 minutes later, his wife called me. I keep calling her, his ex-wife. I'm the ex-wife, not her. She called me to tell me that he had just passed away. But I already knew because he already told me. He said he was leaving. So that's where we left off last night. Okay. Tonight, I'm going to tell you what happened a few months after that. A few months after that, I was doing my radio show. Well, wasn't a radio show. It was a podcast, but that's what we called it back before podcasts became podcasts. We called them radio shows, right? Even though they were online in 2007. And let me find it. A friend of mine was on my show, and she is a psychic medium. And she came onto my show that day, and she was giving everybody readings. And so she decided to give me one. She had given me one before. And she said that my ex-husband was there with her, or she was with him. He was there with her, talking to her, right? And she described him to a T to me. And I was like, what? She said, yeah, he's tall. She said, he likes to talk a lot. I was like, yes, he does. And she described him and what he was wearing, and the outfit that he was wearing is his typical, outfit. She didn't know me, like we didn't know each other. We had met each other online because she had her own podcast and I had my own podcast. And so we met each other like that online. And I would go to her podcast and do shows, and then she would come to mine as a guest. So we would do this every week. So one week when she was reading me, she said, the talker is here. And she said, you're sitting in your kitchen right now. He said, he's with you. I was like, what? She said, yeah, he's standing right next to you. She said, you have books all around you? I always have books around me. You can see. I always have books because I'm a nerd. And she said, you have books around you? I was like, yeah, okay. Well, that's typical. She said, no, but you have some piled like right next to you in a pile. I was like, yeah. She says, and there's a window. You're facing a window. I was like, okay. She said, well, he's standing right next to you. He's leaning on the washing machine. I was like, okay. And then she said, well, as she's saying this, a breeze, a real cool, wasn't like a cold breeze. It was nice. And here's the thing. I was living in New York on the 17th floor. All the windows were closed. And it was chilly outside. Okay? So there was no breeze that could come through my window. A breeze came past my cheek and ruffled the curtain that was sitting in front of me. She said, he just kissed your cheek. I was like, oh my God. And I started crying and all that. So anyway, that's who was on my show, on my podcast. So this one night, she's on my podcast again. And I'm going to play the clip that was taken out of this particular podcast because he interrupted our podcast that night. It's 2007. Let me see. I think it was, let me look at the date that this was saved. Hold on a second and I'll tell you. It was saved on, where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay, December 5th, 2007. So I've had this since then. I'm going to turn it up and hopefully you'll be able to hear it. Okay, let me turn the volume up. See. Okay. Oop, let me put it to the beginning. Okay. All right, everybody quiet. It's only me and the cats.
No way if that makes any sense. Can't really see anyone in particular. Alright. Just has nothing to say. Oh, okay, wait a minute. The voice is here. Is that Stephen Johnson. That Stephen was his name? Who said that? I didn't say that. What's his name? Jay? Did you say that? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's his name.
Now, here's the thing. I don't know. Did you hear it? Were you able to hear it? I'm going to see if I can make it louder. Let me bring my computer closer. You heard it, right? Now, here's the thing. She thought I said it. And I thought she said it. And so we just kept going, right? I was like, oh, okay. You said it. And she was like, yeah, I said that. And then later on, somebody who also used to join us every week on the show, he had isolated it. And he was like, okay, neither one of you said that. And so he sent it to her and he sent it to me. And she was like, she emailed me the next day and she was like, but 2 days later, oh my God, that wasn't me. And I'm going, what are you talking about? I'm going to play it again. Because I moved my computer closer. Let me be quiet. Hi, Sprinkles. Okay.
No way if that makes any sense. Can't really see anyone in particular. Alright. Just has nothing to say. Oh, okay, wait a minute. The voice is here. Is that Stephen Johnson? That Stephen was his name? Who said that? I didn't say that. What's his name?
So we heard Stephen Johnson, Stephen. And then it faded away. So he broke in. Like there was like static on the line too. We could hear it because it went, it was getting staticky. And she said, he's here. The one with the voice. The voice is here. Because, he had a very deep kind of, I don't know. It was, his voice was very deep. It was very, mesmerizing. But he didn't have a voice like that. But it takes a lot of energy for them to be able to move into this space that we're in and reach over and say something. So I'm going to play it one more time for those of you that didn't hear it. And just let me know if you can hear a different voice saying Steven Johnson, Steven. Because I'm laughing and she's talking and he had passed in July of 2007. This happened in December of 2007. So I'm going to play it one more time. So I keep this. I have not gotten rid of it. He stays with me all the time. His voice stays with me all the time. This is my ex-husband, mind you. Okay.
Can't really see anyone in particular. All right. Just have nothing to say. Oh, okay, wait a minute. The voice is here. That's Stephen Johnson. That Stephen was his name?
The lady, her name is oh my God, all of a sudden her name went right out of my mind. Oh my God, I can't remember. You heard it. You heard it, right? You heard him say Steven Johnson. Because it wasn't my voice and it wasn't her voice. Right. So he interrupted my podcast. So sometimes our loved ones are trying to let us know that they're okay. And it wasn't long after that he was gone. That was in 2007. That was from 2007, that clip of my podcast. And we were just all nuts at that point. Like, everybody was just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, because we actually caught it. We actually were able to isolate that little section from the podcast. Well, he didn't. He stayed around for a long time, actually. He hung around for a long months. I finally told him to leave. I was like, listen, you got to go. You got things to do. Actually, he said that. He said that to me. I'm joking. But he is, that at that point, well, I have already gone over. I didn't go into the light. I came back here. That's what we were talking about. I already had my crossing over, and I was asked if I wanted to come back. So that was the first part of the live. I gave everybody that story. So I was asked if I wanted to come back, and I said yes. I want to see how the story ends. And then I came back, and I was very upset. I was like, why? Why did I do that to myself? Anyway, so this is the second part of the story, and that was my ex-husband. And so thank you for the likes. Thank you for popping in and hanging out with me tonight. But I really want to encourage you all. Thank you, Sprinkles. I really want to encourage you all to go get those files from the CIA, the declassified files, before they're gone. Right? Go get them. Don't be dilly-dallying. How do you find it? Just search. Put a search in. Go over there. You can download it. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. I know you've seen people talking about it. I know you've heard people talking about the CIA declassified gateway files. They're talking about consciousness. They're talking about NDEs, what happens when we leave. They're talking about astral projection. They're talking about meditation and what is consciousness and hemisync and binaural beats and all the things that everybody's trying, right? Stuff that I don't know why they declassified it. I don't know why. Just saying. A lot of stuff that we in the spiritual community have been talking about for a long time, they're making, this is my feeling. I feel like you need to go get those files before you can't get them. Because they literally, the government or whoever is, I don't know, somebody, they're deleting the archive files right now. And there's going to be a time when you won't be able to get that. You won't be able to get those files. Whatever information you feel like you need to get, yep, MLK, got the MLK files. Whatever files you feel you need to get them. Because soon you won't be able to get them. Thank you for the follow, Monica. Thank you for the follow, Sprinkles. You will not be able to get those files. Trust me. Listen to what I'm saying. You don't know me from a can of paint, right? I could be lying. I'm just saying. Better safe than sorry. Because then people will be turning around and they will be saying to you, oh, I was reading this, I have this, I got this, and I learned this, and and you're out. You're out of it. So a lot of the things that the spiritual communities have been talking about for years, they're declassifying because they didn't want us to know. But Spirit Creator found a way to get the information out anyway, right? Just like the Bible says that, you don't need nobody to interpret nothing for you. God can put stuff on your heart. And He can interpret and open up your eyes and help you to see. But now you have proof and you can share that with people who don't believe you, who think you're crazy. Because we're not crazy. So some people can't wrap their minds around spirituality and downloads and meditation and changing your frequency, and the things that is in your imagination is what creates your reality. They cannot conceive of it. They can't conceive of it. So give them the CIA classified documents. Maybe they'll believe you then. They probably won't, but you gotta try. Yes, because it has nothing to do with belief. We're not even people. We have frequencies and vibrations. Exactly. Everything. Like, listen, you heard me. Well, those of you that were here, you heard me tell the story of me leaving this place and coming back, even though I was upset. And you heard me tell you what I told the doctor and the nurse who was walking around with his little plan set. Do you believe in Jesus? I said, do you? You can't be my nurse now. Right? You cannot be my nurse. You gotta go. So get your files. Get all your files. Get everything you can. Get all the information that you can. Study it. Learn it. Understand it. Do your meditation. And activate your macabre vehicle. I already made a video about that, and then I got banned. It got banned. Not banned. You can only share it one person at a time. So they made it very difficult for me to get that information out. And I could not understand why, because I really didn't do anything. It wasn't anything harmful at all. All I said was, you have to activate it. That's it. So if you don't know how to do that, Are you interested in doing that? As a matter of fact, I'm building one right now in my virtual reality space. I'm building a couple. I've already built one. I'm building some more. Um, if you haven't had the opportunity to do that, click the link in my bio, and it will take you to my link tree. And then you can click the first link, and it will take you to a place where you can get the ebook or the audiobook that I created. That was downloaded information. And I believe the CIA, I haven't gotten through all the information, but I believe the CIA documents talks about Merkaba vehicles. Because I said, this is what I said in my video. It wasn't even a bad video. I didn't cuss out. Even though I cuss like a sailor in real life. I didn't cuss in that. I didn't do anything. I said, that those Dior bags, they look like Merkaba vehicles to me. That's what they look like to me. And my video got shut down. So I feel like, somebody didn't want us to know certain things. But trust, go learn. Don't listen to me though. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Go listen to yourself, your inner guides, your spiritual team, your heart, your creator, source, energy. Listen to that. And then follow where it leads you. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. All right, I gotta go. I've been on here too long. My goal is to do an hour every day. So this was my hour today. Thank you for hanging out with me. It was nice to meet some of y'all, and thank you for commenting. This is my new thing. I'm coming on once a day, around 8 o'clock. I get the heart palpitations, and then I click the live button, and then here I am. So thank you for the follows, and thank you for the hearts and the love. Have a good night. Okay, maybe I'm not leaving. Maybe Spirit said, no, not today, you're not leaving. Okay, come on, there we go. Good night.